Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Michael Stanwyck.
I'm Andy Petronic.
That's Andy Petronic. And we are going to chat with you today about the upcoming practice of meditation. So the rules around meditation are very simple, and we want to make sure that you understand this is not necessarily a secular practice, and it's not necessarily a religious practice. It can be along the lines of whatever puts you in a very private and personal space. So meditation is something you're going to do for 10 minutes every day, and it can be sitting quietly and listening to your own inner voice. If you have a practice of prayer, it can be a practice of prayer. If you have a practice of meditation already, it can simply be sitting down for 10 minutes and doing whatever it is that speaks to you as far as meditation is concerned. But it really is a practice of finding silence or solitude for 10 minutes every day.
You know, meditation is one of those things for me that I struggle with. When it's in the challenge, and I'm doing it in the challenge, I'm usually capable of being accountable to sit, but I never feel like sitting and taking 10 minutes for myself, whether it's emptying my head or it's counting my breaths or I always convince myself that I don't have time to not do something.
See, and this is why, this is really funny because you're such a rebel in your life. And I think that when you really get down to it, taking this time is a radical act of rebellion.
Well, I've tried to convince myself of that.
But I don't even know.
It hasn't worked.
But it is. What is there to be convinced of? There's a world out there that says you don't have time to do that. You have this. You have things calling at you. You have your email. You have your phone. You have text. You have the people at work. And saying, I'm going to take 10 minutes, and none of that gets in is a radical act.
You're right. It is. And logically, that makes complete sense. And yet I still struggle with it. Doesn't feel productive to me. Well, and I think that's really my challenge. I mean, every time this comes up, I don't think I've ever done a whole life challenge. I've done 10 of them now. I don't think I've ever had a complete week where I've done 7 in a row.
Well, the practice of meditation or silence or solitude or prayer is really a very interesting thing because there's a lot of things that people can get out of it. Some people are really, and I wouldn't suggest this going into this thinking you're going to reach nirvana or you're going to have some sort of like out of.
Can I get that?
Not if you look for it.
Nirvana.
Yeah. I'll get you the album. But if you look for it, it's one of those things that's like love. You'll never find it if you're looking for it. So, but it really is, some people find stress relief in it, and that's not necessarily what it's about, but that's what some people find in it. Some people start to be able to distinguish between the voices in their head that are actually truly who they are and the things that they repeat to themselves that really aren't terribly productive. But productive is a funny word because if your doctor said to you, I need you to take an hour every day and work out, you'd say, oh, I totally understand why.
But it's doing. It's the difference for me. It's doing versus doing nothing.
But you're not ever doing nothing.
That's what it feels like. I'm sitting down and doing nothing, and that feels unproductive.
I know.
Doing, great. I do 20 push-ups a day. I can do that.
Well, and that's why we practice.
Right, exactly.
That's why we practice.
That's what this is all about.
And that's what it is. And it really is. It's an opportunity to find what this is for you. I wouldn't recommend to anybody going into this knowing what it is. It's an opportunity.
Unless you already have an established
a
practice.
Even,
you have a pretty established practice.
I have a pretty established practice, but I still don't go into it knowing what I'm going to get every day.
You're 20 minutes a day, pretty much?
30 minutes a day.
30 minutes a day.
30 minutes a day, and sometimes I do it twice a day. Now, that would be an interesting
amazing.
practice for me,
Wow.
was to get my second time a day
for 10
consistently.
minutes.
For 10 minutes at the end of the day, like before I go to bed.
You typically get up first thing in the morning and do your meditation?
30 minutes first thing in the morning.
Before you email, before any
before. I mean, sometimes it's before I shower, sometimes it's after my shower, but it's among the very first things that I do in the morning.
You prevent yourself from being distracted by all the things that are coming at you.
Well, sometimes I have to just get up and go do it, and sit down on the cushion before I even think about it. Because if I think about it too much and I let myself get too caught up in the day, I will be like anybody else. I run out of time.
Right.
I won't have the time to do it.
And yet, when's the last day you missed?
I probably missed a day this week.
Oh, you have?
It happens.
Oh, I figured you're pretty much...
No, I mean, sometimes I get up late,
Right.
and that's the interesting thing. And they've gotten to the point where doing 30 minutes is so important to me that if I don't do 30 minutes, I won't do 5. But even, even doing 5 is valuable.
Right.
So, but I would say for all practical purposes, I meditate daily. But I still don't go into it going, today I'm going to get this, or today I'm going to reach this. And all sorts of things come out. Sometimes wildly creative ideas will just bubble to the surface of my brain. Sometimes things that have been bothering me will just kind of melt away.
Wow.
Sometimes it's just silence. And
Right.
it's like really interesting to just be in silence. So take this week to find out what meditation and what that practice can be for you. Even, if it's a time to communicate spiritually through prayer, or if it's a time just to find yourself inside yourself.
Have a great week, everyone.
All right.